morning, Ankita. Thank you for joining in today's interview. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thank you for asking.
So, Ankita, before we proceed, can you give a brief introduction about yourself?
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to introduce myself. My name is Ankita Kumari. I am a computer science and engineering graduate. I have total of 5 years and 9 months of industry experience, including 4.5 years focused in Power BI and analytics domain. I'm currently working as a risk mining analyst in Amazon. My primary responsibility is to build dashboard, end-to-end dashboard, and end-to-end dashboard I have to do in. So I have worked on two types of projects: prototype projects and analytics based project. Prototype project is in which requirement and BRD is shared by the client, and in the analytics project, and that is my current project, the BRD is not shared by the client. So I have to get involved with the stakeholders for the information gathering. And then I document the information and build dashboard from scratch. So my current project involves building dashboard for fraud analysis, which is used to detect emerging fraud pattern day to day. It also helps to identify multiple high risk accounts. So coming to technical part, I use SQL extensively for data cleaning and data transformation. So in data cleaning, I used to clean junk data, and also I use the various aggregation functions. I also use joins and advanced Windows function for data cleaning. I have also used the composite primary key for record specific finding out record specific discrepancies. I have used um, for logical discrepancies also, I have come across multiple columns which are dependent on it. So that comes in detecting logical discrepancies. After the data is clean, I make sure before loading it into Power BI desktop, I double ensure the data is clean. And then in the Power BI desktop, I use Power Query for any further cleaning and transformation of the structure. Then I use various DAX functions to find out major KPIs like fraud detection rates, and I use time intelligence date function to find the YTD and YTD and month on month trend using same period last year functions and the dates YTD. I also used after the all the time intelligence function, I use conditional formatting to find out to highlight the high risk areas and high risk accounts. I have also used RLS. I have also used RLS to giving to make sure that all the teams are not able to view all the accounts. Only the teams like specific data is visible to a particular team. After the building of the dashboard, yeah. So that's all about my current project. And since I'm working in an agile environment, so there are on the fly changes coming by the client. So I have my last project, got a on the fly changes requirement by the client as the fraud detection is emerging day and changing day by day. So for the changing, the client wanted to include a major KPI. So in the current sprint, I included the KPI for which I got appreciation from the client and my managers as well. Oh, that's it. And so my extensive knowledge on SQL, Power BI, and hands-on experience on Power BI services make me a good fit for this role. So I'm looking forward to work in Power BI focus environment and continue growing as a BI professional. Thank you.
Awesome. That's great. Thank you. So, Ankita, can you tell me what is the database that you have handled in your previous organization?
So the data sources were SharePoint and Azure Data Factory and also Amazon Web Services.
Okay. So, have you handled, so do you know why we do not prefer many-to-many cardinality in Power BI?
Yeah, so many-to-many cardinality is many-to-many relation. So like we prefer one many-to-one relation because in many-to-many relation there are multiple multiple values in both the tables, multiple similar values in both the table. So because that is the reason don't handle, because the SQL Power BI is not able to understand to fetch which data from which table. So we overcome it by creating a bridge table for which contains both the unique values from both the table. So we can overcome it by that, but mostly we prefer that we use many to one cardinality.
Okay. So any situation that you have faced in the past wherein you had to build a star schema, and if you have like multiple fact tables in your model.
Yeah, so in my one of the project, there was a because of the there was a query optimization. The report was very slow, so I had to build a star schema because there were multiple fact tables. So I converted into one fact table and build a multiple dimension table and made a star schema, which reduced the query optimization time.
Okay. So in terms of DAX, if I have to ask you to rate yourself out of 5, how much will you rate yourself?
Out of 5, I would rate 4.
4 in DAX. So
Yeah.
suppose if I have to find out uh, the year-on-year growth percentage of my sales, for example, then how will you, what type of calculated field that you will create?
So I will create a measure. So the main thing which I use and I prefer is creating a container, variable container. So I will create two containers. One will calculate the current sales, and other will calculate the last year sales. And I'll use divide DAX function to divide current sales minus last year sales divided by last year sales.
So how will you find out the last year sales?
So last year sales, I will use data intelligence function. So that will
Mhm.
conclude of sum of so it will include calculate. And can I tell you the complete DAX syntax?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, okay. So that will be calculate, and because we'll use the filter context, then we'll calculate sum of all the sales, which will give the table name and the column name, and then we will subtract from it. No, sorry. Then we'll calculate same period last year and we'll give the date range from the date table, which will be have, because date table is needed for calculating all date and time intelligence function.
Okay. So suppose I have to create a measure wherein I need the sales of customers only in the region of US, and maybe say the sales amount is greater than $100. Then how will you create that measure?
Yeah, so for that measure also again I'll use a calculate function because it will change the filter context,
Hmm.
and then I will after passing the sum of sales I will change the filter context to uh, sorry, region is equal to for a particular region, and
Hmm.
then I will filter it and then comma, and then I'll give the next condition. So giving the next condition after comma means that it will add on it like and function or or function.
Okay. Have you ever worked on dynamic ranking?
No, but I have a bit of knowledge about it. Well, I'm aware about it, but I've not come across a particular scenario working on it.
Okay, if you have to give a use case of dynamic ranking, how will you explain that? What do you mean by dynamic ranking?
So, dynamic ranking, according to my understanding, is like the data could change day by day in the real world. So,
Hmm.
so the ranking should be dynamic based on whatever the data is refreshed every day. So, the ranking should be dynamic. Like for ranking, we use rankx function, DAX function. So,
Hmm.
inside that, we give the rank, we arrange the data set, like suppose we have to find the rank according to the cities. So we in the city column we find the we use the rank x function, we consider the city column, we remove all filters from it. For that we use alt tax function, and then we calculate the rank based on it, the maximum date, and then we arrange it into descending order. And coming to dynamic, the value should that rank should be assigned dynamically to it. So that's my understanding.
Yeah, you're correct. So, what is that function that is used to ensure that it gets applied to those particular? sales. Suppose I want to dynamically give ranks based on the total sales, for example, and it should be dependent on the slicer that I'm selecting. So there is a DAX that will be associated to that slicer.
Sorry, I'm not aware. All selected function be used.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes, all selected will be the one. Okay,
Yeah.
good. So, have you ever implemented page level security?
No, page level security I haven't implemented.
Have you implemented row level security? If you can tell me the process that you have done.
Yeah, so RLS, that is the row level security. So I have implemented it into my various projects. So for that, I have implemented two types of row level securities are there. So I have implemented both dynamic and static. So in dynamic and static, I'll tell you the later difference later on. But let me tell you what it is. So in for giving the security, we have after the report is created, we have made the report. So we have in the modeling tab in the Power BI desktop, we go to manage roles, and in the manage role, we assign for a particular, we select a particular column over there, and we select a DAX filter that is directly applicable to the role. So when the DAX is directly applicable to the role, that is a static filter, that is a static RLS. And instead of there, if we use a mapping table, so like if we have a Excel where we have the email IDs and the reason specific to the all the users of the organization, and then that we measure then that we mention in the DAX filter, and we use region like email is equal to user principal name DAX, which we used, and then assigning both and after the process is same for both. So then we will save the report and publish it into Power BI services. And then when we go to the Power BI services, we have both the report and semantic model, that is the data set, and we assign users the access over there. Like we have securities, and from there we can assign the access. So that way, and you also cross verify it by going to the Power BI desktop and you're seeing view as role option is there. So by that we can cross check.
Yeah, that's correct. Good. Uh, can you tell me what is the difference between union and union all?
Yeah, so union and union all, union is, sorry, just 1 second. So union include all the data set, in union exclude the null values and it doesn't have repeated values, whereas in union all it include all the values, whether that is repeated or null.
Okay, so which would you think is a faster process, union or union all?
Union all is the faster process because there is no filtering present over there, no sorting is present over there. So it just can display all the data as it is. So union all is faster.
So how does union differ from join?
Okay, union and join, they perform both the have merged, but the main difference is in union it is a horizontal merge, in join it is a vertical merge. And
Okay.
it union joins row by row and union union joins row by row, and join is a it is column wise join. And in union there is an that join is done on dissimilar similar data type, and in join we can join in dissimilar data type as well because it is a column wise join.
Okay, that's correct. Good. Okay, so can you tell me, suppose if I tell you that there is one query which is taking a lot of time for execution, okay? If you have to optimize a slow running query, so what are the first three checks as a developer that you would like to do?
Okay, am I audible, Deep? Because the video is frozen from my side.
You're audible now. Did you hear my
Yeah,
question?
okay. Yeah, I heard your question. I got it.
Okay.
Okay, so according to me, I will do the first three check is the first I will check the model of it, like whether it is a star schema or not. because having snowflake schema, because I prefer star schema over snowflake schema, because no star schema we have one fact table and multiple dimensional table, which makes the query faster, and because less number of join makes the query faster. And the second thing, I would check that any unused data, unused columns have been removed. So, thirdly, I will check that I will from the Power BI performance analyzer, I will check whether the DAX or visual, which is taking more time to load. So I will then I will customize it according to like whichever visual is taking time or DAX. I will try to filter out if that calculated columns are used, then I will use measure instead of it whenever whichever situation it is possible. So these things I will check for the query optimization.
Do you know indexing?
Yeah, I have idea about
Can you
indexing.
tell me what's the difference between a clustered and non-clustered index?
Yeah, so for a cluster and non-cluster index, so in a non-clustered index, the pointer is stored to the actual value, and for the clustered index the actual value is stored, which for so in the non-cluster index, since the pointer is stored to the actual value, it takes more space, more memory that is, and the cluster takes less memory. And two lookups are used for the non-clustered index, because we have pointer and value both to find out. And for
Mhm.
cluster, we have only one lookup. So there can be only one non-cluster index as per the table, but we can have 999 non-cluster clustered index.
Okay, good. Can you tell me
Deep,
what's the
was
difference?
I audible?
Yeah, you were audible. There's some
Yeah. Yeah, sorry
internet
for
challenges, I
this.
think, but it's fine.
Yeah, yeah,
No
yeah.
problem. It's okay. I'm able to hear you at least. So, can
Okay.
you tell me what's the difference between a date diff and the date at function?
Yeah, so date diff and date add function, both are date functions. With the major differences, in date add function, we can find out, we can move the calendar, like we can add or subtract date, month, year. But in the date difference, we can find out the difference between the two intervals. So the syntax for the date add is the interval and the time period with which we have to move, but and the end period. But in the date difference, it is the interval and the start date and the end date. So it gives the difference between two dates, and other we can move the calendar by like next month, 30 days, 50 days, ahead and back.
Okay. So, in your previous projects that you have been associated with, um, whether you used to go for a live connection or an extract connection?
No, I would go for a live connection.
Live connection. So, for a live connection, don't you think that the performance won't be great every time the data,
Sorry,
new data
Deep, I
comes in?
lost you again. I think there's, yeah, I told
Then
live
again,
connection.
so in live connection, don't you think that every time the data gets refreshed, there will be
Yeah,
a,
it comes.
I think there is an audio lag there.
Yeah, so again, I will say that are you able to hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so depending on the situation, like if there is a real-time data needed every time and the data is on the cloud platform, I'll go with live connection. Apart from that, I'll go with the import mode. So where I can, if the depending on the for data file size of the data set, also I'll choose which connection to go with.
What's the difference between a full refresh and an extract refresh? Hey, sorry, incremental refresh.
So full refresh will every time refresh all the data set, like historical data and the current data as well. Whereas with incremental refresh, I can choose to optimize only the new, that is the changing data to be refreshed. It reduces my time for the refresh. It also make the query, it makes the data set refresh fast. So in one of my last project, the refresh was taking around refresh time was around 10 minutes. So I reduced it to 2 minutes. Like because of the incremental refresh, I implemented incremental refresh, which I did not reload the historical data, refresh the historical data every time. I just refresh the new data, the last 2 years data, and I also used it to refresh it into non-peak hours, which make the refresh time faster and reduce as well.
Okay. So one final question for me in terms of Power BI. So do you know how to calculate cumulative volume? What should be the DAX that has to be written for cumulative volume?
No, sorry, I don't know what's the DAX written for it, but I know the concept behind what that is. What is the cumulative value?
Mhm.
Like for a particular like if I need to find cumulative value of Ankita. So for day one it will be the day one value, and for the day two it will be day one plus day two value, and day three will be day one plus day two plus day three. But right now I just don't remember what's the DAX function used for it.
Okay. So Ankita, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years' time?
So in the next 5 year time, I see myself as a technical lead. So
Hmm.
because I'm currently working, I have exposure and working for 4.5. For the next 5 years, I see myself as a lead or manager position.
Okay, that's great. So before we end, do you have any questions to me?